A sweeping wave of layoffs is hitting global technology giants and raising a pressing question about the true cost of the artificial intelligence boom. Now, companies like Meta and Oracle are cutting tens of thousands of jobs even as they double down on AI driven growth. Now, Meta has announced plans to cut nearly 10% of its workforce, impacting close to 8,000 employees, while also shutting thousands of open roles. Now, Microsoft, meanwhile, is offering voluntary retirement to around 7% of its US workforce as part of a broader restructuring strategy. But the most dramatic move comes from Oracle, which has reportedly laid off between 20,000 to 30,000 employees globally. And viewers, the scale of these cuts have sparked concern, especially as long-serving and highly skilled professionals are being shown the door. And across the industry, the pattern is becoming clear. Companies are investing billions into artificial intelligence, automating workflows, and streamlining operations to improve efficiency and profitability. As AI systems take over routine coding, testing, and operational tasks, the demand for large workforces is shrinking. Now, viewers, this trend is not limited to one sector. Firms across technology, entertainment, and semiconductors are restructuring for an AI-first future. Now, even profitable companies are trimming staff, with investors often rewarding such moves as a sign of stronger margins. However, the human cost is significant. Entry-level roles are disappearing, hiring is slowing, and even mid and senior level employees are no longer immune. And the traditional belief that experience guarantees job security is rapidly eroding. And viewers, the shift signals a deeper transformation as big tech embraces automation at scale. The global workforce is entering a new era where adaptability, AI skills, and efficiency will define survival.
Dr. Kaur, it seems like loyalty has sort of, eroded completely. Even 20 to 30-year veterans, they're being laid off. So loyalty has lost its value in the artificial intelligence economy. Am I right or wrong here? Let's get the ball rolling.
Kabir, honestly, it's tough to answer this, but factually correct as well, because a lot of job hopping, it's happening from both the sides. Companies are also looking at restructuring to do more, optimization of the roles. They're creating efficiency. At the same time, employees are also looking forward to get better salaries, hop jobs to get better ranks in a much faster pace than how it used to be earlier. The biggest driver, of course, for these shifts are the artificial intelligence and automation, because structural change forces people to take these hard decisions, even the employer and the employees both. But what's at risk is that certain roles which are repetitive, rule based, and execution heavy, they're most affected, they're most vulnerable at the moment. And even the mid level roles, without any clear differentiation, will fall under pressure. And then we'll see a lot of these hard decisions taken by companies where they want to invest more on the AI and less on people reskilling and absorbing them.
But these current reports, they suggest, Dr. Kaur, that, some of those senior colleagues, some of those, high-cost employees, they're facing the axe essentially under the garb of, AI restructuring. Whether that's going to happen or not, I mean, it's too soon to say. But companies are actively targeting the seniors, the bosses. They're the ones. I mean, earlier, the idea was that, those at the bottom of this pyramid, those at the bottom of this tech food chain were going to be vulnerable. They're going to succumb to the AI restructuring. But it seems like the bosses are going to be feeling the heat as well.
So I feel irrespective of the level, anybody who is hesitant to adopt technology, who is not comfortable with a collaborative approach where AI with digital fluency, can work together with the basics of data thinking, problem solving, communication, and visibility, is going to get affected, irrespective of the level of job in the hierarchy they fall into. So I think more than repositioning, it's about stabilizing first, understanding that this is a career reset opportunity for a lot of people. Right now, uncertainty is creating more fear than
Yeah.
the reskilling part. Not everybody is equally at risk, but because they're not prepared, they feel powerless. And at this moment, I think to stay updated in terms of visibility skills. It is important to build your network, because degrees, even on the campus front, they're not helping much now, because instead of volume hiring, we're shifting towards selective hiring. So proof of skill is only possible through network. That's the new currency we're looking at. So practical exposure, adaptability towards AI is something that all employers are looking forward heavily, because they will be investing a lot on these
All
fronts
right.
to have an edge in the industry.
Feb John James, let me come to you next. Is AI truly capable of replacing the senior level decision making roles? I mean, you're the founder of AI Board. Give us a perspective of, a founder. Is this premature panic, or is there something that really the bosses and the senior level, the higher cost employees now need to take a look at?
This pattern where most senior employees in most of the companies like Meta has been laid off. So it's a pattern that fits. So basically, I mean, the most logical sense is that it's the highest way of making sure that you can direct that money elsewhere, because these are like high costly roles for the company's perspective. Now coming to the firing part, the first primary reason is that with senior employees, the push to adopt a new technology is very hard for companies to push through when compared with the junior employees. So people who don't adopt, as the other person said, it's very much possible to for people to not to adopt it, and those are the first kind of people who can get fired. The second kind of people, senior people, is those who don't have hands-on level experience, because they have been not in touch with the core technology for a long period of time, and they are just people managing, and those kind of roles where they have forgotten the hand, being like being very hands-on, right? And
Yep,
that's
yep,
just
yep.
the key word here. So these are the folks who are likely to get fired most. Yeah.
No, that's I agree. There's a different premium when you talk about those who have on hands experience. But are we underestimating the speed at which AI is evolving? I mean, it could be a news anchor tomorrow, a robot that's going to be carrying out with this debate. That could very well be a reality, especially in areas like coding, in cybersecurity. I do want to talk about Anthropic here as well. But before that, are we really underestimating the speed at which AI is evolving? Those that are quite handy with the tech at the moment, they seem to believe, not so soon, but I think it's more faster than we believe.
Yeah, I think we are at least at a job level where people are working. They are at least in that sense where they are like easygoing, that we are underestimating in terms of like how the technology is growing, and people are. To be honest, I'm even surprised that every day I get surprises. It's having you said about the Anthropic model as well. But coming back towards the thing, the companies, the heads are panicking, as but the employees are being a bit of feedback. But I think this layoffs will set a trend for people to come back and get hands on and get better at things.
Models like Anthropic's Mythos, they can now exploit vulnerabilities. It can find software vulnerabilities. It can exploit systems. It can automate cyber attacks. So we're not simply talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about the ability for an AI to replicate or simulate a cyber warfare sort of a scenario as well. Are we entering an AI-driven cyber arms race simultaneously? And then again, the entire sovereignty issue comes into play, because who really has their LLMs on public display? I think these days people are more willing to tell you how an F-35 is being built, but they won't really showcase and tell you what they're doing with their own LLMs back at home.
Yeah, so I totally agree that we are entering a cyber arm war race, and a lot of state-enabled actors like North Korea, China are at least in the leading front there. But coming back to the AI part of it, I think we are very close to. I think as a country we are still weak in those areas.
Yeah.
But concluding by just saying one more thing is that where cyber security, or where the cyber thing is, where Anthropic are being successful, is the traditional security, which is the traditional systems and all that kind of stuff. But where it still lacking, or where people can still contribute a lot, is where the AI warfare itself is the vulnerability, where LLM can be vulnerable in itself. So those are areas where even people can explore a lot more.
And do we have global regulatory framework? Do you see it happening in the coming years? Because it's certainly not ready right now for AI that can both build and can break systems. I mean, if this can simulate a cyber warfare, it can also go and attack somebody else. So do we have a regulatory system set up? Do you have any knowledge about it? Could you throw some light on it, Febin?
Well, if you see about the data regulatory itself, I think you know how the state of what that is in India or in Europe, which has done something there. But if the state of data regulatory system is in this state, AI is still in the very nascent state, and it's still not there yet. But having said that, at this time, if regulatory system kicks in, it will disrupt. It will keep problems in the innovation sector. People, I mean, people in countries like India, I think that regulatory should be balanced with how innovation can succeed and not harm innovators as such. So while regulatory factor is important, it shouldn't come at the cost of innovation.
Well, so the AI arms race is on. The alarm bells are certainly ringing. You do need to go out there and upskill yourselves. Otherwise, the person using the artificial intelligence, using it better than you are, will certainly be taking your jobs. 4 to 5 lakh jobs that are going to go away in the next 2 to 3 years. Those are bigger and, really huge numbers just to look at it. And it could really affect the stock markets in the days to come as well. Mr. Sharma, let's get the snowball rolling here. First and foremost, is this the end of traditional IT pyramid model? Of course, old will have to give way to new. That's inevitable. But where thousands of juniors are supported just by few seniors, is that the new model that we're looking at? Are companies genuinely becoming more efficient, or are they overestimating artificial intelligence current capabilities? What do you make of all these jobs that have been lost in just a single month?
Yes, you're right. And largely you have covered almost all the points. And how do I see this, or where I see this going is the traditional pyramid is not going to work anymore. Okay. So one person is capable of doing a lot of job using all these AI tools. And so the IT companies or any kind of companies, they have to adopt the new normal, which is use of these AI technologies. Example, in BPO, if there have been a company who have been providing inbound and outbound processes, the new normal is that there is a tool who can offer all these services using AI. So the people who are taking those services, they are now looking for those cheaper options. So the company have to evolve into either providing those kind of evolved services, because the new companies, new businesses, they are not looking for all those traditional kind of human resources who will take the call on and who will answer all those queries of the people. Yeah.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong here. This doesn't seem like a slowdown story. This seems to be like a reset story. But the Indian model, the Indian pyramid is very people oriented. We've been talking about how we need to reskill our workforces, not just here back at home, but across the world. Big tech, they love to hire Indians. But here back at home, we're a people-centric model. And when we're looking at slashing down jobs to then put that money into AI efficiency, do we have the wherewithal to reskill our people and at that scale? For any new structure to grow, you'd want scale. And with these kind of jobs that are now going, what does it mean essentially for the Indian pyramid, the Indian model, the Indian people-centric model?
Okay, so yes, and that's a very, very good question right now at this point of time, because how I see it, the people who do not know AI or who are not skilling themselves to know AI, the use of these tools, they are going to lose their job definitely. But the people who know how to handle these tools, how to integrate these tools, or how to use these tools, the demand is going to surge a lot. And if you look at online, there are a lot of companies who have now started hiring white coders, or the developers or the engineers who know this skill set. The people are not looking for people who have been coding manually nowadays. They want people who can prompt engineer, who can ask AI to code in speed, who know the solution architecting, who know the solutioning. So the thing is that the job would surge in these directions, where companies are looking for integrators, implementers, or who can customize the available AI solutions. Okay, so this new stream would come into the market. A lot of new businesses are evolving who are just vibe agency, just like vibe coders. So you can hire those agency and they will do the job using the vibe coding and all.
Yeah.
So these kind of domains are new, coming up in the market. But yes, traditional method of developing things or building things would go, and those people now need to reskill themselves to adopt in the new market.